Okay, welcome everyone. This is Premier Chess Academy, Premier Chess Adult Intermediate, winter February 2022 class. And this is the week 3. So we'll do a few puzzles, and I got a game illustrating a king walk, which I think is pretty fascinating to me. So who just joined? Rahul? Oh, I don't recognize that person. Rahul. How you doing?
Yeah, can you hear me? Yeah,
Yeah, I can hear you.
I'm good. Heard you.
Excellent. Welcome. That's how you say your name, Rahul. Is that good?
Yeah, that's perfect.
Excellent. All right. Gatamaneni. Is that how you say it?
My second name, my last name is hard to pronounce, but you
How
can
do you
just say Rahul.
how do you say it?
Ghattamaneni.
Gatamaneni. See, I got it. It's fine. It's fine. my name. Kids they make fun of the weird names in school. My name got a lot of weird names. Daniello, De Niro, Donatello, that kind of thing. Danilo. But you know what? In my name, there's no silent letters. So how can it be confusing, right? All right. So let's do okay. So then we'll start off with this puzzle. This is a Lichess puzzle. This is a game, 10-minute game. All right, so let's go back to the beginning. Let's see what happened here. E4, E5, knight F3, knight C6. Okay, normal development. D4. Oh, there you go. Uday, welcome. I see you now. Excellent. D4, E takes, knight takes. I believe is this called the Scotch game? Maybe.
Yeah.
All right, excellent. Excellent. And then if he goes, I guess if he didn't do knight takes, if he went C3, that would be the Scotch gambit, isn't that right? Is that right?
Yeah, I think so.
All right, excellent. Just want to make sure. All right, good. Knight takes. Okay, knight takes. Yeah. So here, I think this is an example of when a beginner, a lot of beginners, they see the possibility for an exchange. They make the exchange, and I don't think that's entirely necessary. Why? Because not only are you exchanging your pieces, so now black has 0 pieces that he just developed, and white has a nice centralized queen, right? Beautiful square for the queen to be on. It's eyeing a lot, and normally this wouldn't be a good idea to bring your queen out, right? That's a normal principle is don't bring your queen out too early. However, here, not that big of a deal. Why? Because there's no knight on b8 to scare the queen to develop here, and with tempo, right? So the queen is pretty, you can say, unassailable here on d4. Very difficult to attack it, right? You can do c5, but that would just create a hole here on d5, unnecessary hole that white can control. So now I say white has slight advantage here. D6, yeah, pretty, yeah. Look at this bishop. This bishop is not happy, and he can't even fianchetto this bishop here because he's going to lose his rook immediately. So bishop here is kind of difficult to develop at the moment. Bishop c4, knight f6. Okay, queen e3. I don't know why that was played. It's not a necessary move. Queen was not being attacked. I would say here castle, probably the best move, or developed a knight. Simple, straightforward moves like that, I think, would be best. So I don't know what he's trying to do. Again, you just violated another opening principle, which is do not move the same piece twice, right? So the queen is already in a nice central location. Why move the queen if you're not being attacked? Bishop e7, knight c3, castle b3. Okay, so he wants to fianchetto the bishop along the long diagonal. Okay, c6, bishop e2, queen c7, castle queenside. All right, what do you think, guys? Would you guys castle queenside in this position or kingside? What do you guys think?
I would do kingside.
Yeah. I mean, queenside seems a little bit airy here. Everyone else, what do you guys think? Queenside or kingside?
I'd say kingside, only because it's got a lot more fortification for now.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, it's a nice diagonal for the bishop, but I just feel like the king is safer on the king side. All right, so bishop g4. All right, so what do you think would be a natural move here?
F3.
F3 is a completely natural move, and I would probably play F3 as well. I don't know why bishop g4 is kind of a weird move. You're you're kind of inviting f3, and then the bishop has to move again. So and then it's almost like white already wants to do a pawn storm. So bishop g4 is kind of helping white to do the pawn storm. I don't know why he would do that. But here, white didn't play f3, interestingly enough. He played e5. So really inviting complications. I think that's unnecessary complications, actually. So he took the pawn, and then he played f3. Yeah, why would you give away? I don't understand that one. That's kind of a weird one. All right, so bishop h5, knight e4. Okay. All right, h6. Okay, maybe he wants to keep the queen or the knight out of g5. All right, g4, bishop g6, knight takes, bishop takes, h4, queen e7. All right, what would you guys play here? What would you guys play?
Rook g1.
Say again?
Rook dg1.
Rook dg1. Okay, so basically preparing for g5, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Maybe. Let's see. Yeah, because I'm looking. If you went rook dg1, I was looking at bishop takes h4, which is threatening bishop g5. But then I think he has yeah, rook dg1, bishop takes, and then maybe queen takes, and he's pretty good. He's threatening mate, and he's also going to do a queen trade there. So, all right, what else? What else would what else? What would you guys play here?
You could also do the prophylactic king b1.
Yeah, that's not a bad move either. Good idea to get off this diagonal, which the queen and the king are on. So yeah, so here he played g5. So definitely sacrificing a pawn, opening up the h file, and of course he didn't take back because he's gonna lose his queen. So he went rook dg1, b5. All right, so now what do you think white played here? What would you play here?
Did he play h takes g4 or g5?
Yeah, so yeah, moving the bishop would be the natural move, but he chose to take here, which I think is a pretty good move. Opening up the h file and threatening the bishop, and also eventually threatening this pawn if the bishop is taken. Right, so h takes, b takes, g takes, f6. Okay, so what do you think? What's black's best move here?
Queen takes f6.
Yeah, queen takes f6. You have to, right? G takes, and then you got what? Queen h6, and then I don't see a way to avert mate after that. So yeah, he's forced to take queen takes f6. Bishop takes e5, queen f5. All right, now there's Sean. Okay, now what would you play? So here's the puzzle: white to move. What would you play here?
I would say rook h8 check.
Rook h8. Oh, sacrifice the rook. Ooh, nice one. Oh, I like it. I like it. So all right, so what happens? King takes, then what?
Queen h6.
Nice, beautiful. Exploiting the pin, right? And then eventual mate on g7. Excellent. Did you see that immediately, Samuel?
No.
Excellent.
I saw that a long time earlier.
A long time earlier. Very nice. Everybody see that, right? Beautiful tactic there. So what kind of sacrifice would that be? What do you think?
Is it decoy or deflection?
I think that's a decoy, right? We're decoying the king onto the h8 square, right? Which produces a pin on the pawn, right? Absolute pin. We bring the queen here, exploiting the pin, check, forking the mate threat on g7, right? Very nice move. Cool. All right, very forceful, very nice. All right, mate, excellent. All right, should we do one more puzzle? What do you guys think? Yeah, we'll do one more. All right, so let's see here. All right, so here All right, this is between two 1700s. I don't know if that's relevant, but just want to let you know. E4, C5, Sicilian defense, knight F3, G6. Okay, D4 takes, knight F6, knight C3. Okay, bishop G7, E5, knight C6, queen D1. Yeah, I think that was the E5 move is a bit premature, right? Now it looks like this pawn is gone, and there's nothing he can do about it. Bishop G5, bishop B5 takes. I mean, personally, I would just take with the G knight, right? Because it's out there all alone. So, but he takes with the other one. Takes castle, F4, check. Okay, king H1, knight C6, F5. Okay, knight D5. Okay, knight D4, bishop D3, D6. Ooh, okay, nice. Knight D5, queen comes back, F6. Ooh, nice. All right, white's pretty aggressive here. So he's sacrificing a pawn to destroy the this nice pawn structure. Right, so E takes, C3, knight C3, queen F6, queen F3, knight E5. Okay, queen E3, bishop E6, knight F4, takes. All right, bishop F5, queen B5, B6, bishop E3, rook B8. Okay, D4. I like bishop E4 a little bit better, right? Giving the bishop a nice diagonal here, pinning the pawn, and then eventually solidifying the bishop with F5. And this bishop is again unassailable because there is no light square bishop for white, right? So so white can't challenge his bishop at all, which is pretty nice. So yeah, bishop D7 a little bit passive. Queen D7, queen D3. Okay, so here maybe I would put the bishop here on C6, same thing, but he doesn't do that. He goes A6. All right. Okay, rook FD1, bishop B5. All right, so the purpose of okay, okay, this everybody know the YouTube channel Surin, or anybody follow that YouTube channel? Chess with Surin, Suren.
No.
No, okay. So he's an Armenian guy. He posts some pretty good chess videos on YouTube, and and this would be an example where if I saw a game that was annotated by him or that was covered in his video, he would say this is a cheap trick. Too many cheap tricks. So what is the cheap trick here that Black was trying to do? I don't know. It's not even a trick. This is not a good move at all. Not only is the pawn just falling, but what is he trying to do?
Bishop B5.
I think he's trying to do bishop B5, but of course, C4 blocks anyway. But yeah, pawn just takes. I don't know. It's just a bad move. It's ridiculous.
Oh, was he hoping for queen to take A6 and then rook to go A8 and then he'd forget about his queen and then he'd take it?
Okay, another example of a cheap trick. Yeah, maybe. So A6, rook FD1, bishop B5. Not a good move at all. Queen G3. Okay, D5. Okay, I don't like that move either because I think this bishop definitely needs to be on this diagonal, right? Do not close that diagonal. That's a beautiful diagonal for the bishop. All right, so D5 closes the diagonal. A4, bishop C6. Yeah, so now you see big difference, right? Now the bishop is acting like a pawn, not like a bishop, right? Completely blocked. No good. No good. H4. Okay, G5. That's a weird move. Why would he do that move? Can anybody figure that move out? Oh, that's kind of a weird
He
move.
wants to get rid of his double pawn.
I guess so, but it's such a weird way to do it.
He hoping to take the knight.
It's such a
Is
weird
he,
way.
is he just trying to open up H? He's hoping the guy will take it and get rid of the double pawns and open up H.
Yeah, but I mean, this knight can jump here. The bishop
Right,
can
right.
take
It's not a
here.
good move.
Not a good move at all. No. G5, H takes, F takes. Okay, bishop takes. All right. So here's the puzzle. Black to move. All right, black to move. What is the best move for black here?
King takes.
Okay, so if we go king takes, then let's see. I mean, it's just equality, I think. You know, maybe knight h4 check. And then yeah, this diagonal is kind of weak as well. But I think white has black has a much stronger move than king takes here, actually.
What about G takes F4?
Right, G takes F4, right? So that it seems kind of dangerous opening up the queen in you know in front of your king, but and also having a potential discovered check here. But the thing is, the queen is being attacked, right? So if he takes the pawn, of course, what do you do?
Well, you take the bishop.
You take the bishop, right? Then you just won a
Yeah.
piece, right? Very nice. So if he wants to not give away his bishop, he goes queen G4. What do you do then?
Then you go bishop D7.
Bishop D7. Yeah, so okay, so I'm thinking bishop D7 or F4. Which one do you like better? What do you think? Which one?
I may like F5 better.
I mean, sorry, F5, yeah.
No.
I may like F5 better.
Okay. Yeah, because I mean the one thing with bishop let's see here. All right, yeah, I'm thinking F5. I'm thinking F5. So yeah, all right, let's see. So we know the first one is this. Good. So what do you guys think? F5 or bishop D7? What do you guys think? Consensus.
I like the pawn.
Yeah, I think the pawn. I think the pawn's a little stronger.
The queen takes. The rook can take, and
Mhm.
you know.
Yeah, I like the pawn better. You know, you challenge pieces with pawns. It's a much stronger threat, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, I think so. Oh, they don't like it. All right.
Okay.
All right. So
Why
what
not?
else? All right.
And I guess it's bishop too. Yeah.
Well, either one. Okay, either the bishop or could be this move too. You know, I don't know. What do you guys think? H5 or bishop D7? Yeah, probably maybe bishop D7.
I don't like h5. I mean, gets taken and then.
Right. And then now the queen
And
controls
then,
the
yeah,
H5.
exactly. Right.
Yeah, and then maybe he's gonna
Well-
try. Yeah.
Doesn't H5 win the bishop?
Yeah, I think it does, but also bishop D7 should win the bishop too.
Yeah.
What
Yeah.
about F3?
I think bishop D7 because I saw something. Because if you go H5,
Mm-hmm.
the queen takes it and the king takes
Mm-hmm.
G7.
Mm-hmm.
And what about, say, rook, queen E5?
Queen E5 check. Okay. Yeah. All right. It's not really that strong though. I mean, you can block here.
Right.
Um,
Well, I could see why F5 didn't work because F5, queen takes F4, king takes G7, queen E5 check. Then you
mhm.
could get work on E6. I could see why F5.
Right. That's interesting. Yeah. So maybe the bishop down. All right, I think the bishop. Let's see. Yeah, bishop. Okay, cool. All right. Win a piece. Very nice. All right, good job. All right, so let's look at a game with a king walk. Anybody know what a king walk is? What is a king walk? Anybody know what that means when I say king walk?
Bringing your king out in the open.
Well, not necessarily bring your
Something
king
like
because that's something that you should that's something that you should do always when should you bring the king out? When should you activate the king?
End game.
End game,
End
yeah.
game.
Yeah,
Yeah.
opening and middle game, the king is a vulnerable piece and needs to be protected and hidden away. And then in the end game, the king gets transformed into a pretty strong piece and should be activated. And if you don't activate it, you're just basically functioning with less, one piece less than your opponent. So yeah, that's normal to activate your king. But a king walk is when you walk your king, and it's not necessarily during the end game, right? Where you would expect the king to be to walk out. That's a king walk, and it's kind of the opposite of a king hunt. The king hunt is when you're forcing your opponent to walk his king, and a king walk is where people bring their king out voluntarily, not in the end game, which is a pretty strange thing. All right, so let's look at this game. So this is Magnus Carlsen versus Levan Aronian. So not club amateur players. Clutch Chess International 2020. All right, so Carlsen is white. So let's see what happened here. C4, knight f6. This is English. Knight c3, e5. All right, so we got, it's kind of like, what do you call that? The dragon variation, the reversed of the Sicilian dragon variation, right? Okay, bishop e4. All right, e4. So okay, so it looks like this gives away a pawn, but actually it doesn't. Takes, and then he goes d6. So why didn't he take this pawn? What do you guys think? Why didn't he take the pawn?
Because his light square bishop might like open up.
So if you took the pawn, yeah, you see, okay,
Okay.
so yeah, I had it here. So yeah, so queen, you can recover the pawn very easily, right? Queen g4, right? And the pawn is recovered by taking the g pawn. And what's another way to recover the pawn?
Queen d5.
Queen d5, yes. So a very similar tactic in in reverse. Rui Lopez when Rui Lopez opening, right? When if the bishop on b5 takes knight, and then this pawn looks free, right? But it's actually not. All right, good. All right, so he didn't take the pawn, so he went d6, or he took the he didn't take the pawn. D6, f3, bishop e6. Okay, knight h3, a5, a4, castle, b3, knight a6, knight g5. Okay, back, bishop e3, knight c5, rook a2. All right, so that's a nice move, right? Activating the rook, and little rook lift to the d file, and making the queen feel a little bit uncomfortable. Nice move. Rook a6, similar rook lift. Black does very nice to activate his rook. All right. Rook d2, rook b6. All right, so now, what would you play if you were white here? So after rook b6, what would you play?
b4.
So b4, just you lose a pawn there, right?
Yeah, but if b4
You take-
were, b4
Say again?
were b4 a takes b4 a5.
A takes b4 a5. Ooh, interesting. Little
Exchange, and then you end up with the
little
pawn.
intermezzo. Okay, so okay, a takes, and then a5. You said, right?
Yeah.
No.
Well, then, what do you think? What do you think Black can do then? At that point?
Oh, wait, right. B takes c.
Yeah, I think he can take here. So white does a little Zwischenzug intermezzo, intermediate move, and then Black does his own intermediate move, right? Takes, I think, takes here, and both rooks are being attacked, right? And this one actually comes with a check, so that's kind of annoying. All right, what else? What else would you play here after rook b6?
About the white pawn to, let's say, f4. If you did that, the black takes. You could take.
Pawn to f4. All right, so you're disregarding this threat completely, right?
Because
Right.
I mean, no, if he does take, then you have your queen.
No,
Yeah, yeah, go ahead.
Rook takes b3, I think. Bishop takes c5.
Right. Yeah, good. Yeah, good eye. Yeah, so the knight can't take due to the pin, and if the rook takes, you take the knight, and then the rook is hanging, right? So you're right. So this is kind of I guess you can say it's an illusory threat.
Mhm.
So okay, so f4, interesting move. Okay, so he played bishop takes c5, so he removed the knight immediately, which also I think does two things, which is nice for white, which is it eases the pressure on b3, but it also opens up the d file, and the queen is now under heavy pressure, right? So that's a nice move for those reasons. Okay, now that d file is open, what do you think white played here? White to play.
f4.
Mhm.
Or sorry,
F-
bishop h3.
Bishop h3, yeah, look at this. This bishop here is pinned, not feeling very comfortable. The queen not feeling very comfortable. So what do we do with pinned pieces? You increase pressure, put pressure on the pinned piece, right? Excellent move. Bishop h3, h6. All right. What do you think Magnus Carlsen played here? White to move.
Take the bishop.
Yeah, he took the bishop. Yeah. I mean, you can't really take this pawn desperado style, because then rook takes, and now you got 3 defenders, so that's no good. So yeah, he takes the bishop. Bishop takes, h takes, and now he goes. Well, what do you think? What do you think white did here? Tell me what you think.
And then bishop f5.
Yeah, so it looks like this queen is something bad's going to happen, because you got a lot of power against the queen, and the bishop's ready to do a discovered attack somewhere. But in fact, there's not really a good discovered attack square for the bishop to go to. Black is pretty safe, so he didn't even move the bishop. Actually, white didn't move the bishop here. He played something else. What do you think he played?
The pawn to h4.
Yeah, pawn h4, very nice move. Open up the h file,
Yeah.
right? Preparing to attack the king. Yeah, that's what he did. h4. And black did a pretty good move here, I think. He went rook d6, interposing the rook between the white heavy pieces. So I think that's a pretty nice move. Also takes, and now of course the bishop must move. It's completely inside the white camp. So white can't take here, of course, he can lose the bishop. So he retreats back to f5. Then we have knight h5, targeting the g3 pawn. We have king f2. This is another example of that I did this lecture recently called "When Not to Castle." Castling is usually a good idea, in general, but of course, I always like to tell my students that we should not play chess like the horses in that pull the carriages. They have the blinders on. You don't play chess with blinders, right? These are principles. These are not like hard, steadfast laws. so that you must evaluate every position uniquely and say, you have to figure out, does this principle apply to this position, right? So here, it's not really necessary for white to castle. It doesn't really matter here. So yeah, king f2, he played g6, bishop g4, knight f6. All right, queen d2, knight takes, f takes, king g7. All right. So yeah, so here it looks like black's just giving away this pawn, but after rook here, it's not really clear that it's going to be easy for white to break through. So he plays, instead of taking the pawn, he goes h5. All right, then rook h8. All right, so now what do you think white played here? See if you can figure it out.
Did he go G takes h6 or h takes g6?
H takes g6. No, he didn't do that.
Would open up.
Oh, right. The rook's not even protected. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
How about pawn to h5?
So sacrifice the pawn. Rook takes, king takes. Now what? Yeah, I don't see a good follow-up to break through.
You can go queen to d5 and he'll be attacking 2 pawns.
Queen d5.
I mean, after he trades, gives away the
Yeah.
pawn he's attacking, he'll get one of them back.
I mean, you can go queen e7. Everything's protected, right? Everything's protected. All right. I don't see a clear way to break through. Maybe this is the only way to break through somehow.
Rook f1.
So rook f1. Well, that gives away this pawn, right?
But followed by like queen d5.
Followed by queen d5. All right. So let's see. So rook f1 takes. So you go queen d5. Maybe he just goes queen e7. And now everything's protected again, right? And now it's going to be black that's going to break through on
Right.
right? So yeah. All right, what else? What else did white do here?
Did he go king e3?
All right, so Samuel got the closest. So yeah, he commenced his king walk here. He's
King
like,
walk.
he's like, you know what? My king, it does not want to be here. Where do you think he chose to? Where's his goal for his king to be? Where do you think?
b2.
Yeah, b2 or a3. Right? So he chose to start the king walk. His king is taking a stroll in the park now. f6, king d1, queen d7. So he took a moment to pause the king walk to protect his g pawn. Queen e2, b6. All right, now he can continue the king walk. Okay, queen f3. All right, so now he continues. King c2. So as you can see, black can't really do anything to improve his position. So he says, I'm just going to take a stroll in the park. King b2, queen d7, king a3. Now, now the king is happier. Now he's in a closed area of the board, and now white will continue his improving his position. Queen e6. All right. So what would you play here if you were white? Now that you finish your king walk.
Let me guess. b4.
b4. Oh, moving this? No, definitely not. The king's here. You don't want to open things up. Also, this drops the pawn too.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I forgot.
Yeah.
He'll be on the queen side of the board. Wow.
Yeah. What do you think? What did white do here?
And what about h take e6 now?
H takes. let's
The rook
see.
takes. Yeah.
Yeah, rook takes,
All
queen
right.
takes, king takes, and the queen can come back here on h5 to deliver a check. King comes back to g7, but then white can't infiltrate at all. Everything's protected, right?
Mhm.
So no. So what else? What else did he do? I'll give you a hint if you want. Let me know. You would think it'd be easy to figure out what he did, right? Because there's like most of the pawns are locked up. You can't do much. So we already mentioned all the pawn moves that are possible, taking the G pawn and B4, right? So
Yeah.
we know it's not a pawn move, right?
Is it queen d1?
Queen D1.
So,
Okay,
so the
so
idea is
yeah, go ahead. What's the
the
idea?
idea is to somehow like get into black side, like queen d5 followed by
Yeah.
infiltration somehow.
Okay. All right, so that's a good guess, good answer. That's not what he played, but it's a good reasoning. So when you're playing your games, right, when especially if you have a really closed position like this, one thing that you can think about as a guide as to what you should do next is you should evaluate your opponent's position and think, where does my opponent have a weakness that I can attack? So in black's position, what's
Is it
black's
rook- Is it rook d1?
excellent? Yeah, rook d1, right? The weakness is right here. D6 is the backward pawn, very weak. And which side, white or black, which side has the most space?
It's kind of similar.
Yeah.
What do you guys
So-
think? Similar?
White has a
side?
little more space though.
Definitely white has more space. Definitely. Yeah. Black has, these
jam.
seventh rank and the eighth rank, a little bit of the sixth rank, but yeah, white has a lot more, right? He's got quite a few more squares to work with, right? So usually you can say that the person with more space can maneuver much more easily than the person with less space, right? So very simple, and this is a very equal position, almost equal. But in these kind of positions, you focus the person with more space. If they just maneuver their pieces to focus on a weakness, they can exploit another weakness. They can create more weaknesses just by focusing their strength on a weakness, and then their opponent brings their pieces there, and then you can maneuver back. So, for example, rook d8, rook d1, targeting here. So of course black is expecting queen or maybe even first rook d3, queen comes down. Now we're going to win this. So what do you think black played here to anticipate that?
Rook h8.
Yeah, so he's like, okay, let me get my rook. Let me quickly get my rook out to protect that. So rook h8, and then we got rook d5. Okay, rook d8. Okay, so now now what do you think white does here? White does an interesting move. Carlson does it.
H5 take g6.
H takes g6, king takes. Now what's the follow-up though?
Now the follow-up could be queen to f5.
I think that would benefit black.
You get benefit black.
Okay, why would it benefit black? Why do you guys think?
Yeah.
Okay, so if this happened, why would it benefit black? Okay, and then probably take with the G pawn, check. Yeah, why would it benefit black? What do you think?
I guess because white had the better position before, now they're probably dead even. It's a draw here, right? I mean,
So what? Well, no, I don't think it's a draw
No,
here. What
you
do you think
sure?
black? What do you think black can do here? What's the best move?
King h5 and then.
Yeah,
F5.
probably infiltrate right
Yeah.
immediately.
oh yeah,
Hey.
or rook back to h8, maybe.
Yeah. So or yeah, he comes back now. White's going to be too slow to occupy the h file. Now the rook
Yeah.
just comes over and controls the h file, and he can invade that way. So yeah, I think queen f5 trading queens here would give the advantage to black here. So what else? What else did white do here? What do you think?
Well, queen to d1.
All right, so yeah, continue with the plan. You can do that, but it's
Yeah.
not really effective though because
Yeah.
now it's already protected, right?
Yeah.
But
How about moving the pawn from to b4?
oh, b4 now?
Yeah.
It's not. I wouldn't say that's a strong move because it's not a forcing
Okay.
move, right? He doesn't have to.
So
do
yeah,
anything.
you're just trading stuff, right?
Yeah, he doesn't have to do anything. Yeah. So yeah. All right. What else do you think? All right. So we already exhausted all the pawn moves. Okay, so it's not a pawn move.
Okay.
Oh, is it h6?
Nope. No, he's not sacrificing the pawn. No.
Yeah.
Darn it.
The queen's got to make a move.
All right. What do you think?
Is it queen
H1.
d1?
Queen d1. No, I think we mentioned that already. So it's kind of
What if you-
ineffective because it's already
what if you-
protected.
What if you took queen to H1?
Queen to h1. Okay, then this pawn drops,
Yeah, that's dropped.
right?
Then what
So-
about queen d3?
Queen d3. I mean, kind of the similar thing. It's kind of ineffective because it's pretty well protected. So okay, let me
Plus
ask.
the pawn still drops.
And the pawn drops, right? Exactly.
Yeah.
All right, let me ask you guys this. This is like a question on of culture. When have you guys ever heard of anybody? Kids usually say this when they're gonna I don't know, they're gonna give high five to somebody, and then the kids take away their hand, and then they say psych. You know what that? Does anybody here know what that means? Psych. You know what that means?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, Samuel. You adults, are you familiar with that phrase? Psych.
No, it used to be too slow when I used.
Too slow.
Maybe I'm showing
All
my
right.
age here.
So what does that mean? Psych, Samuel. How would you define what that means?
I would say, well, so you tried to make someone think that you were gonna do this, but then all of a sudden you completely change plans.
Exactly. So you're kind of tricking your opponent into you're saying I'm going to do this, and they're preparing for you to do that, and then you quickly change and pivot, right? And again, the person with more space can maneuver much more easily, right? So here,
So get the rook down.
So here, he plays rook d5, just telling white, okay, or telling black, I'm going to probably do this, so you better prepare. But instead of doing that, he goes rook d2. And then black's like, huh? Why'd you do that? And so black goes rook d7. Now, this is a much nicer position for the breakthrough. Now, what's the difference? What's the difference in this position?
The difference is now that the rook can get over to h, the rook
Right.
can respond faster.
Right. So now the difference is he's gonna take 2 moves to get back to the h file, whereas white only takes 1 move. Right. So it's very nice little psych right there. I thought that was pretty cool. So he comes back to h2 really quick before the rook gets back. He runs back rook d8, and then now he breaks through and he has complete control over the h file. Very nice use of a psych by white. King takes, and now we have queen h1. So now he doesn't even care about this pawn. All he cares about is invading, right? So now he plays, black's doing some damage control, queen g8. Okay, so we have rook h6 check, king f7. Okay, how would you continue the attack here? What do you think?
Queen to f1.
Queen to f1. All right. I mean, Queen G7 protects
Yeah.
everything nicely. you know?
Yeah.
So what else? What else?
I mean, you did Queen H5 check, but
Yeah.
it seems like the king has room to run.
Yeah, I think Queen H5 check is a little bit stronger, right? Now we have more control over
Yeah.
the black position, right? So Queen H5 check, King E6. All right, here, white to move. What do you think?
Rook G6.
Rook G6, excellent move. Now, do you see why this is such a good move? Does everybody see that?
Well, you
Yes.
can do Queen takes G5 next.
Excellent. Yeah, you notice that this pawn is pinned, right? Very nice. So Rook G5, Rook G6 is actually a threat, a fork, right? We're
Mhm.
forking the queen, and then we're gonna take this pawn next. Beautiful move. So Rook G6, Queen F7, Queen takes G5, and King E7. Oh yeah, King E7. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, King E7. Yeah, because I was looking at Rook G7, win the queen, but no, you got taking the queen here. So yeah. Okay. Queen F5. Okay. Now we have Rook G8. All right. All right. What would you play here? White to move.
Rook H6.
Yes, Rook H6. Do not trade queens, or do not trade pieces just yet, right? So black is definitely more cramped and would love to trade pieces if possible. So do not do that willingly. Rook H6. Then we have Rook G5. All right, what would you play, your white? What would you play?
Now Queen to C8.
Yeah, Queen C8 and Rook G8. Okay, okay. Yeah, I think here actually, I think this is the situation where. Oh no, he didn't resign yet. No, he didn't resign yet. Okay, Queen C8, Rook G8. Okay, now what would you play? White to move.
Queen C7.
Yeah, Queen C7 check. King E6. Okay. Now what would you play?
Let's see.
Can you take the queen? Oh,
You
you
can take the queen, but
yeah,
it
it's
might
queen,
be
yeah.
this might benefit black because number one, the king is so far away,
yeah.
and then number two, these pawns are probably going to
Mhm.
fall soon, right?
Yes. Yes.
So you probably don't want to do that. What else?
I mean, you could do Rook H7, but I'm not sure if that's good or what.
Let's see, Rook H7. Again, I think black would be better after
Yeah.
takes, and then he just cleans up all these pawns,
Right.
right? So, okay, what else?
Do you just do Queen?
Oh,
Well,
yeah.
no, you could do
I
Queen
got it.
C6.
Yeah, so Queen C6 is a nice move, right? So now
Right.
he's preparing to occupy another center square here. And yeah, okay, Queen C6, Rook E8. Okay, so now what would you play? What white to move?
I mean,
G5.
D5 seems like the only move, but
Yeah, D5 seems like the obvious move, but okay, so here,
yeah.
one thing you have to think about is every time your opponent moves, right? You think something changed in the position, right? Then you ask yourself what changed. So the last move was Rook E8, right? So yeah,
Yeah.
How about G5?
yeah, exactly. So now the rook is no longer controlling the G file. And
Yeah.
guess what? This pawn is still pinned. So G5, very powerful move, right? G5. So basically here, after Rook E8, black resigned. he didn't want to wait to see the ending of it. So yeah, G5. And what does he do? He's threatening a fork here. Is there anything that black can do? You know, even if he comes back here to E7, what do you do? What's the best move here?
You first of all can go G6.
G6. Okay, you can do that. That's true.
But you could take the pawn
Yeah, I think a
You can
lot of
just take the F pawn, continue your plan.
I
Take
can
it with the
take-
rook.
you can take the F. Oh, with the rook. Okay, you can do that too.
what about Queen C7?
I like Queen C7 actually. I think
Mhm.
Queen C7 is strong. Queen C7 check, and then doesn't matter where he goes. King F8, King E6 for
Right, rook takes.
or here the queen is pinned, right? So very nice continuation. King F8, rook takes, and then queen is lost. Right? So yeah, if you're in a very closed position like this with with your opponent, and especially if you have the space advantage, number one, don't trade pieces so easily, right? Don't alleviate your opponent's cramped nature. And number two, you should recognize that having more space, you have the advantage of being able to maneuver more quickly, right, than your opponent. So that's definitely what Carlsen did here. He basically was like, how do you say? What do you say? He was goading? No, he was what am I trying to say? Yeah, he was just like, I don't know how you say, incentivizing. he was luring his opponent to bring rook to d7, right? And then he couldn't protect his h file anymore. So yeah, very nice. What do you guys think? Good.
Yeah.
All right, cool. So let's do a puzzle here. We got a few minutes left. Let's do another puzzle. All right, so let's do this one. So let's go back here. All right, so e4, c6, we got Caro-Kann, takes, exchange variation. Okay, check, castle. All right, a6, bishop a4, b5, bishop e3, e6. Okay, this is kind of strange. I don't know why white's taking so long to do d4. This seems like the natural move, right? Opening up the bishop and staking a claim in the center, so it's kind of weird. By the way, this is a game between the 1600, basically two 1600s. Some that might explain it. All right, rook e1, bishop d3. There, finally he does d4. Castle. Okay, pin the knight. Okay. All right. Whoa, what kind of move is that? That's a weird move. Number one, it traps the bishop. Maybe he's not worried about that because he's gonna sacrifice anyway and bring his queen out, maybe. I don't know. Let's see. All right, so he loses a minor piece here. Okay. Takes, check. All right. So king is wide open. Yeah, so this move here, imagine if this G pawn wasn't here, right? Then he would you could do queen G5 check, king goes to the H file, do a little rook lift, and now you're threatening mate here. Right, that would have been a nice move. All right, so rook d8. Okay, bishop down. All right, so threatening a nice little invasion there. Okay, king flees, check. All right, what does that do? I'm not sure what that does. Not sure what that does. It looks fancy. That's all it does. That's all. He's just trying to be fancy. Maybe his girlfriend's watching him. He's like, "Ooh, you see that? You like this move?" Maybe. Can't think of an explanation for that one. All right, bishop h3, knight e7, d2. All right, king flees successfully. Okay, king is running still. All right, so okay. All right, let's see here. All right, he takes there, opening up his C file. I don't know if that's a good move, but okay. Okay, rook comes over, takes there. Queen comes back. I mean, might as well, if the queen's on the C file, might as well double up on the C file, and control it completely. Why bring the queen back? Then now that just incentivizes or just tells me, why don't I just control the C file myself? Thank you. Right? It seems like a good move. All right, knight there, takes. All right, so now the knight's in peril. Okay, attacking the rook. All right. All right, so this is the position white to move. What is the best move for white here?
take the knight on e7, it's kind of sitting there.
It is sitting there. I mean, if you take it, he has your rook with check,
Right.
right? So probably not that just yet. What else?
How about rook e6?
Rook e6. Yeah, I like that move too, because that comes with check. And if he takes the rook with the bishop, queen takes check. If he blocks with the queen, then what do you do?
Like bishop d5.
No, you actually lose a bishop. Knight takes d5.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah. Yeah. So rook takes, bishop takes, queen c6. What's the best move?
okay. Oh, then just queen takes knight.
Yeah, queen takes the knight, right? The knight's free, right? So rook takes, bishop takes, queen takes, and then yeah, so it doesn't matter what he does. If he moves the king, doesn't matter where he moves it, then you just take the knight with check, and you won 2 minor pieces plus a pawn for the rook. It's a pretty nice trade. And this d5 pawn is gonna fall as well. So yeah, I think that's the best move here. Ooh, it's not the best
No.
move. Oh my goodness. All right. I accept the challenge. All right, what else? What else should we play here? Interesting. I like that move, for the record.
I think maybe because he can just move his king and not, like after rook captures, he can just move his king and not.
Okay, so if rook takes and then he moves his king, let's say b7, I would do rook here, right? And now if he takes my rook, now you can just take the knight with check and then pick up
Yeah.
his bishop, right? So it still works,
Yeah.
right? So what else?
Did they move the bishop to take the pawn? And
I don't think so, because then he takes this with check,
yeah,
right? So that's the problem. What do you think?
Just bring the rook back to e1.
Wait, also the e5 rook?
Yeah.
No, I think that's too passive. I think we want a more active move. What's a more active move here? What do you think?
Didn't you say rook on A to E1? No.
Yeah, I think so. I like this one better, right? Rook A to E1, and you're
Yeah.
basically threatening the same thing, right? Because he can't move the knight because the bishop's gonna fall. And if he protects the knight, then we do the same thing. Check, and check, and then we take the knight anyway. So I think it's the same kind of tactic, but we're just protecting our rook first and doubling up on the e file. Yeah, there you go. Yeah. Okay, so he protects the knight, and you do the same exact thing, right? Rook takes. Yeah. So okay, so he decides to save the knight instead of giving away for 2 minor pieces, right? And then you lose that. Ooh, interesting.
yeah.
All right. Touche. Okay. Okay. So then we forced to take that. Okay. All right. Yeah, interesting game following. Cool.
Then
All right. So good seeing you guys. I hope you enjoyed that. Hope you learned something. And yeah, maybe I'll see you guys soon.
thanks,
All
Dan.
right. Yeah,
Thanks,
you're welcome.
guys.
Hope you guys have a great night.
Thanks,
Yeah.
you too.
Take
Yeah,
care.
good night.
Bye-bye.
Bye.